I'm just wondering, how do we approach the subject of like forgiveness? Because I know that's something in your book.
Well, as I say, one is to have a more forgiving attitude towards the past. That doesn't mean you say the past is right, obviously not, but to have a more appropriate attitude towards it. Because to do that is, among other things, a request to what comes after us to be gentle with us. Because we know we'll be making mistakes. We know we'll be doing things wrong. I've been a writer for 20 years, and masses of things have changed. I've made mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. It's not until you've done them that you realize, oh, of course, that's because that's what everyone in the past was going through. I have a favorite quote from Milan Kundera, who I mentioned earlier. He said somewhere, he said in Testaments Betrayed, he said, mankind walks in a fog. We stumble along a path and we make the path as we go. And that's not the interesting point. The point that's interesting is he says, when we look back, we see the path, we see the man, but we don't see the fog. Everything looks inevitable once you've been through it because it's happened. But as you're going through it, all you can do is to have the brightest lights shining that you've got and tread carefully. Don't just like stampede, fueled by self-righteousness and certainty. So that's one thing. Be forgiving towards the past, have a better attitude towards the past, because we'll need that forgiveness in due course ourselves. And I think this is also something which is an enervating thing for people. I'm obsessed with one little thing that's happened recently, which is a war on Winston Churchill that keeps happening. Portions of the left that keep doing this in Britain. They attack Winston Churchill for various things. Now, Winston Churchill was a man, and he made a number of very big mistakes in his life. He also saved civilization. And occasionally you get these people. We had one in Britain with the Shadow Chancellor, John Macdonald, was recently asked whether Winston Churchill was a hero or a villain. And he said, Tony Pandy, villain. This was blaming him for the police action against some miners in 1910, and one miner died.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Now, see, there's two things that are interesting about this. The first is, what you're really doing is you're attacking Winston Churchill because you know that Winston Churchill in some way is the core of something at the root of being British today, because we have lots of uncertainties. We always have. We have lots that we've got wrong. We know that. But we're proud of that. We're proud of that. If we hadn't have had Winston Churchill and this country hadn't have stood up, the world would look totally different. I doubt there'd be any Jews. And that's something to be proud of, to have stopped that. So when somebody attacks Churchill, we have something, we know what they're trying to get us at the root of what is one of our certainties, to demoralize us. But the second thing in some ways is more interesting to me, is my problem with this is that it is enervating, particularly for young people, because none of us in our lives are going to do something as important as what Churchill did then. Knowing that if he failed, he would be killed, everybody he loved would be killed, everything he'd ever loved would be destroyed, and the most evil thing in history would triumph. We are not going to have the opportunity to make a stand, let alone win, as he did. But if that counts as nothing, because you once made a mistake, there's no point in acting in this world. None. And I think that any young person looking at a system set up like that, err once, fail once, stumble once, and even saving civilization will not save you. Well, why not just not do anything?
Yeah.